welcome to another lovely commander game of Magic. Today's commander will be Omnath, Locus of Rage, and we'll be playing against the lovely and friendly commander of Skullbriar, the Walking Grave. As I've discussed before, the point of the Omnath deck is to really just get gratuitous amounts of mana out really early, and this opening hand is going to do such a good job of that with the turn 1 Sol Ring to the turn 2 Cultivate. I really feel that this is a very strong opening hand to keep. On top of the Cultivate, Rampant Growth, and Sol Ring in the hand, we also have the Greater Good. The Greater Good is the perfect card to sacrifice some elementals to in hopes of drawing more cards, which will also then net more lands. Now, with green-black, and the Sensei's Divining Top is really just the icing on the cake here. Especially with all the shuffling we're going to be doing, it's always nice to ensure that you have that extra protection to know what's coming next. With the top three the way they are, we're going to ensure that we draw the Wayfarer's Bauble, a cheap way to get additional land. And we're just going to keep passing the turn. Now, I've actually played against Skullbriar before. I'm not sure which deck it was that played against him. But Skullbriar is essentially a Slith commander. For those who are not familiar enough with the Mirrodin block, not Scars of Mirrodin, Mirrodin the original, there was a group of creatures called the Slith. I believe there were 6 in total, and they had the original vampire ability. They were the ones that were getting counters when they dealt damage to a player. Vampires originally got counters when they killed a creature, a la Sengir Vampire, Baron Sengir, and the like. So we see that as soon as Skullbriar swings, he automatically gets a +1 counter. Then that counter, with the new commander rules, will be staying indefinitely, which is pretty frustrating, because the whole beauty of being able to bounce them to your hand was it would actually go to your hand. You didn't have to worry that once a Skullbriar got big, it was going to stay big forever. And with the new rules that you can really choose where your commander goes, you're kind of undermining the only real response people had to Skullbriar. But that's just my opinion. I, again, am not the creator of this game. And here we go at the end of turn 2. He will again be swinging with the Skullbriar, while I am still sitting on the beginning of turn 3, generating 6 mana. Depending on the land drawn, I might decide to drop the Gaia's Revenge. Rancor on a Skullbriar ensures that not only does he have Trample, but also, as soon as Skullbriar dies, the Rancor returns to his hand. I will now have taken 5 commander damage from the Skullbriar by turn 2. That's the power of Rancor. Rancor was such a powerful enchantment way back in the day. Now at this point, I have enough mana to cast my Omnath. But also at this point, Skullbriar is big enough that I have to be nervous. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to pop the bubble, and look at the top 3. And I will then pass the turn, consigned to take a total of 10 commander damage by turn 3 from Skullbriar. There are very few commanders that are as hasty as Skullbriar. Not in the terms of the fact that no commanders have haste. Plenty of commanders have haste. The issue with Skullbriar is that Skullbriar just continually grows. So yeah, you play him on turn 2, and he's a 1/1, no one thinks that's a threat. But by the time creatures come out and your commander comes out, you're looking at, without the Rancor already, it's a 4/4 commander on turn 4. And that's significant because he keeps his counters. So for 4 mana, then at this point already, even if I kill the Skullbriar, he's still breaking even on a commander. And with that Buried Alive, I am a little bit worried. He drops 1 more land, plays a Dread Return, or Vigor Mortis, or Animate, or an Animate Dead, or a Necromancy. You guys get the point. There could be some real fat fatties coming out. Vorinclex might hit the graveyard if he's running it. If not a Vorinclex, a Shieldred. If we're moving away from the Praetors, you have so many powerful green-black cards to animate that it's really a complete crapshoot here. So the 3 cards he chose were an Elvish Spirit Guide, a Gravecrawler, which can be cast as long as he controls Skullbriar, and a Brawn, giving additional trample to his already trample-y Skullbriar. I forgot to look at the top 3. Let's do that now, because we can. Now we at least have a blocker that will get rid of the Skullbriar until he drops an additional land. I could attack with it, swing for 8, but at this point the 10 commander damage is so much more significant than my 8 regular damage that there's no real point. Keep the blocker. Yeah, it's a hell of a blocker, but winning the game is more important. And now he has not drawn the land to recast Skullbriar in terms of swapping lethal damage. Of course, Fleshbag Marauder is an option. At this point, I have now taken 16 commander damage. And now Skullbriar is a 7/5. We'll be casting the commander, and if you guys remember, with the senses, the top card was a land, which we will then draw and play, giving us an additional blocker for the Skullbriar. So yeah, we'll take that 2 more damage, putting us at 19 commander, but Skullbriar is at least dead temporarily, and we can start building up additional 5/5s to block. Now, even if he somehow animates the Fleshbag, he doesn't necessarily have enough to cast and recast the Skullbriar. It seems as though he's hit a mana short, although there's definitely no lack, and there's no more mana short due to cellaring. But there's no lack of cheap animation and cheap ways to bring back that Marauder, winnowing out the creatures in green-black. The question is, does he swing or not? With swinging, he immediately puts himself, unless dropping a forest, he puts himself in a Rancor stalling position in terms of he can recast the Skullbriar with the counters that attack. But the Rancor would be returned to his hand, and it looks like he still needs that green source. With 2 mana in his mana pool? Forgotten Ancient. Forgotten Ancient is a very fun card. The first card from the you create the card that Wizards really did. And he has chosen not to attack, and hopefully that will be the tempo swing we need.